a beautiful rainy day today, and I'm going to make some Wensleydale cheese. I've got it here in the sink in 30 degrees Celsius hot water, and it is sitting there. It has been culturing there with the Flora Danica culture for 45 minutes, and now we're going to put the rennet in there. And this is 12 litres of sheep's milk, and I've got 4 millilitres of rennet in here for the 12 litres in some cold boiled water. And when we're going to make the cheese, I've made it before once and it turned out really nice. I've got some cranberries here we're going to put in, and we've got some Himalaya salt we're also going to put into the curds. So it's going to be fun. So now I'll put in the rennet and stir, and sheep's milk has a very high fat content, so I actually should have stirred before I put the rennet in, but I'm just going to make sure to stir it well now. Now I'll wait 45 minutes again. Now let's check the curd. I'll just take some of these. You can actually see the fat on this. See, it's come up here. I could actually scoop that off and make some butter with that. That might be a good idea. Just scoop that off into a little bowl. Scoop that off there, because it's actually yeah, I think also it's when you freeze the milk, this happens more. But it's going to be in the way, or in the way also. But I mean, I could make a little portion of butter with this, because I can't incorporate it into the milk now that it has actually risen to the top, but there's still lots of fat in there because it's just some of the fat. Okay, so I have to cut this into 1 centimeter cubes. Quite small. I'll do it over here. Okay, I'm going to leave leave this to rest for 5 minutes. So now I'm just filling up the sink with some really hot water because we're going to stir this and heat it to 35 degrees. So it's on 30 degrees now. I'm just going to stir this really carefully. See, the curds are really nice and firm. This is a really great way to do it instead of just putting it on the gas stove, because it just gets too hot too quickly. Now this pot is not thick, it's actually very thin, so the heat goes through very quickly, so I have to actually stir well. So you can see already how they're lumping together, or how they are becoming smaller. I think I'll just turn it off now. I'll just use my hands a bit. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes or so, and it heated up too fast. I was not really thinking before, because this pot is very thin, and I've used another pot that's very thick, and of course this thin pot takes in the heat very quickly. So I hope I haven't ruined the cheese, because if you heat it too fast, you actually can ruin it. So now I've made it much less hot on the outside, the outside water. And we're going to heat this to 35 degrees, and then we're going to put it up into a cloth. And so this is a little bit like a cheddar cheese, because you actually, first you drain the curds into a cloth, and then you actually break up the curds. And yeah, I think it's a really great way of doing it actually. Just turned out really well, that cheese I made last time. This is an English style of cheese. It smells lovely and it looks good, so I trust the process. And the beautiful thing about sheep's milk, one of the beautiful things, is that, of course, it's an A2 milk, which makes it very easily digestible, very good proteins that are easy to digest, and there's not much water in the milk, so that means that you get a lot of cheese out of a certain amount of milk. So sometimes you get 2.5 times more cheese than you would out of cow's milk. So it's very pretty nutritious stuff. Let's see. I think this is fine. Can take this water out now. When you're making hard cheeses like this, you have to be really careful with bacteria and fungi and all sorts of stuff. So I try to scald everything I use or boil it. Because this is raw milk also, you want to have it really clean. But also because it's raw milk, you have a lot of really good bacteria in there that are very healthy and protective actually. Okay, so we're going to tie this up. Oops. Tie this here. And hang it up. Long enough, it is long enough, but not so clean. There we go. That worked. Fun. It's fun creating. I love creating. So it is going to, it's going to hang there for 1.5 hours. And with the whey, I'm going to make a whey cheese, which I've shown you before. It's a musost, a Norwegian cheese they used to make with goat's milk. And you heat the milk, you just keep it boiling and boiling and boiling, and finally you have this brown, thick, it's actually a type of sugary sort of a curd. It's not even a curd, and you can use it as spread on bread and butter, or you can make it into a block and slice it and make thin slices and put on bread. So this is a very Nordic cheese. So, and the reason why I can make it this time and not when I make feta cheese is because this is a sweet whey. So once the whey has become soured, which it will if it stands, when I make feta cheese it's many more hours and it will sour more, and therefore it's not a very nice mousse cheese. But this one is going to be really good. So I've got it boiling here. I'm going to turn down the heat completely in a little while. cleared up beautifully now. Air is wonderful and fresh. Ah, the sky is so lovely. And the sheep have been eating all morning. Just resting over here, chewing their cud. Blackbird singing up there. Life is good. There they are. The mosquitoes are not so bad now. It's really nice. Okay, so we're going to go back to the cheese and get the curds broken up into little pieces. Okay, so I have my cheese press ready. My husband made for me some years ago. I've got this little bamboo mat on. So that's all set for when the curds are ready. So now we're going to wash our hands. Break up these curds. If I can. Yeah. I think I actually cut them up last time. Just take a knife. Makes it easier. Wait. See, this is the sort of simple cheddaring process that we're doing now. That makes a very firm cheese. It smells really nice. And they're still warm, the curds, which is good. Maybe I should put the Here's the salt, 5 teaspoons of salt and 100 grams of cranberries. Ah, they smell nice. It's organic cranberries. Just rinse the cloth. Okay. I'm going to mix this up. Maybe I should use the big pot really. Makes it easier. Let me mix it all up. That's fine. Let's get into the press here. Now we're going to press it, and we're going to press it with 5 kilos for a quarter of an hour. I'm going to do like this, and we're going to get the, oh, maybe this is too big. Let's see. Because we want the top to fit on. Because otherwise it's going to slide. Let's see. there we go. So now this has to have 5 kilos of pressure on it. And we do that by just putting 5 litres of water into this pot. It's nice and stable because it's big, so it won't so easily tip, but they are sort of held down. This is the big pot I have on. I'm just going to fill that up with water because it's already a little bit crooked. And the pot also weighs a little bit, so you don't need quite 5 litres, but about 5 litres. We don't have to be so precise. Okay, there we are, and we'll be back in a quarter of an hour. Okay, so we're going to get it out of this, and I didn't actually calculate that very well, because this big thing actually also weighs something, so it's a little bit silly putting so much weight on it, because this one is actually weighs a few hundred grams, so it got a bit too much weight on it, I think. So now we're going to take it out. And we're going to give it a press of 20 kilos for 24 hours, I think. 12 hours. So looking good, looking good. Maybe I should, I won't do that. Or maybe I should rinse this. I'll just rinse this. So it's nice and firm. And maybe I actually don't even need the cloth. Actually, I think I'll just not use the cloth at all. And we're going to turn the cheese, of course. We're going to turn the cheese. There we go. Put this back on. Put this on, and I can't imagine it's going to go under that, because it was quite thick last time I made it. So I'm going to just put this on, and this actually weighs maybe 2 kilos, so I should have only put maybe 2 litres of water into this. So now we have 5 litres of water, so let's say this is about 7 kilos already now. So what we want is, we want 13 more. We want 13 more litres of water into this pot. So I'm just going to fill that up now. Okay, so it's filled up now. Nice and full, the whole thing. It's a 17-litre pot, so it's very full. And of course, when you have one of these homemade things, you have to make sure it's actually as even, standing as straight as possible, and that this is not leaning onto these, because then it takes the pressure off. We want the pressure to be straight on the cheese, so therefore I just have to check once in a while. This is actually clinging to this thing, this one here. So maybe we could have made it in a better, maybe these holes should have been bigger. See if I can press it down a bit. Yeah, I just have to keep an eye on it. Maybe just take this, keep an eye on it so the whole thing doesn't tip, but it shouldn't do that, but it can get a bit crooked and sort of lean on these sticks or these iron things. So in 12 hours we'll come back. Okay, so you can see my very homemade press, and I had to take that big pot off. I will probably buy myself an actual press one day. But I turned the cheese and put the cloth back on because it's a bit hard to get it out when it has the fruit in it, and I put these books on. So it had 20 kilos both times. And let's have a look. Just put this. Okay, so here we have it. It's looking really nice. I'm going to turn it round, and now it's going to go into my cupboard in a cool room. It has to be at about 18 to 21 degrees Celsius, and it has to dry now, air dry. And it has the salt in it, so I don't need to salt it on the outside. And when it is dry, I'm going to vacuum pack it. And last time I vacuum packed it too early, so it kept sort of blowing up. I had to do it 3 times. So this time I'm going to make sure it's really dry. But this cheese, as I mentioned, I actually heated it much too fast. So I'm going to make another one. But if you want to try to make this cheese, remember to heat it very slowly when it has been cut and rested for 5 minutes. You stir it very, very slowly and heat it up to 32 degrees, and you rest it for 15 minutes, and you stir it again, rest it for 5, and then you put it into the cloth. So it is actually, the recipe is a short, I might write it in the description underneath. It's from a place called Mad Millie in New Zealand. And so it worked the first time. I'm going to see how this is going to go, but next time I'm going to really make sure to heat it slowly. So I'll come back to you in 3 months' time and we'll have a taste test. And with the other one I make too. So have a great day. See you, my friend.